What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the MLB or Run Pure Sports MLB Swing for the Fences show. We're here breaking down the 7-game MLB slate today. We don't have a lot of time, though. It's a 7-game slate. We're going to get through it rather quickly. Our boy, he's game ready. He's got his jersey on. He's ready. If someone goes down, you might see our boy Title on the court. He's heading to the game tonight. What's up?
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited. Game 1. Went to the first home game in the last series too, which was game 3. Excited to go back today with a couple buddies. It should be a lot of fun. Got Bucks in. I keep saying Bucks in 4 this series. I think they're going to handle the Hawks. Maybe Bucks in 5, but today they got to start it off. Got my jersey and everything ready to go. Once this show's over, I'm running out the door. So I'm excited.
Giannis? Is that Giannis, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it's Giannis. It's basic, but hey, he'll be around forever.
It's got to be Giannis. It's got to be Giannis.
Yeah. You're just making me root for the Hawks. I mean, I don't even really care for the Hawks all that much, but your love and your devotion to the Bucks just I'm all
slide in for some action. Mangone keeps talking, but Mangone's not pulling the trigger. I don't have the action I want on it, so if you want it, slide on in.
What's the series line?
Well, big free line on DK is -375, so it's hefty, but
yeah,
I mean that's what I'm giving.
That seems like a fair line to me, to be honest. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think Hawks have at least a fighting chance. We'll see.
They're not drawing dead. I definitely don't think they're drawing dead.
Yeah, me neither.
We'll see, but
it's just been such a crazy playoffs that it's hard to lay that much. I don't know. That's just the way I see it.
Hey, DC, if you want a little action,
I might slide in after the show. We'll see.
The key guy literally is airballing free throws. I don't think your team's a lock to advance versus any team.
Yeah, exactly. The Bucks have disappointed so many times that I don't know.
He's dropping 40 and he's dropping 40 and 10 in a game 7 though.
We got to move on before I get talked into this Hawks sucker bet.
Yeah, but that's just okay. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole because I've done it so many times talking NBA.
We got a 7-game slate, man. We're good.
Yeah, that's just pure athleticism. Okay,
he's just athletic.
Yeah, I mean, to me, he's the same as LeBron James. It's just pure athletic ability. He's one of the best athletes in the NBA. Best basketball player,
obviously.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he also didn't grow up playing basketball his whole he's behind everyone that started in America when they grew up touching a basketball since they were 2. I keep saying it. Giannis in 4 years is not going to be the same player as now, but he's also he's made strides from 2 years ago to now. I mean,
you're so young, Title. You have so much to learn in this world.
Hey, you keep saying that. You doubting the Suns, doubting the Bucks.
You sound like our old friend from the CPC, Zaz Mania, who has been convinced for years Ben Simmons was going to develop his jump shot.
No,
it's only going the other way.
Don't compare Simmons and Giannis ever.
Wow, but hey, Title, you better watch out though. My Pistons got that #1 pick.
Yeah, I'm worried for sure.
I might have to get back on board. I haven't been a Pistons fan in a while, but I might jump back on the bandwagon.
I have no idea who's available in the draft, but I'm pretty sure the Pistons will pick the wrong guy. I feel pretty good about that.
But it's clear, Title. You follow this stuff closer than I mean, it's pretty clear cut. The dude, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 kind of, but Cade Cunningham's the one that pretty much everyone's projecting first. So I assume they're going to take him. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's a good bat. They have a couple Mobleys
point guard or what? What position does he play?
Yeah, he's like a small forward. He's a guard tall guard. He can score. He can play
Edwards type.
Yeah, something like.
I mean, they said there's some Luka comps too, right? To his game a little bit.
I wouldn't go that far, but maybe. I mean, he's raw for sure. He's young. He's raw. He can score. Play some D.
Let me ask you guys a question. I didn't pay too much attention to the end of the last 2 months of the NBA regular season with baseball going on. Anthony Edwards, as a Timberwolves fan, you look pretty good, right? He was kind of surging at the end there. Is that correct?
No, I think he's gonna be really solid.
Moving
forward. I mean, he's
great athlete. Seems like a good worker. Seems healthy, right? Not afraid to
buckets. He can get buckets. He's gonna be a elite scorer in this.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
And he's got
that's what I wanted to hear.
Got the mental game too. I mean, he'll miss 10 shots. He'll shoot the 11th shot. So, and they got a pretty good coach.
Have you seen his press conference and stuff? He's hilarious.
Yeah. He's really funny.
Yeah, a lot of promise for him. I'm super high on him. But hey, good luck to your squad, Title. I mean, you're a nice dude. I obviously really like you, and I hope it all works out for you. But I am definitely not rooting for your team.
Hey, that's fair. You've been rooting against him all year, so I wouldn't expect you to hop on.
How can you
now,
say
so.
you hope it works out for him, but you're rooting against him?
Yeah,
Those
no,
two things are like diametrically opposed.
He's being nice, but he's not rooting for me.
For you personally, I hope it works out. However, I just want to see him lose really badly.
What about Suns Bucks? That's the dream title. Who are you cheering for in that one?
Gosh, your two squads. You've just
You're gonna get it, title. You're gonna get it.
I know I'm getting it. I cannot wait.
You've been calling him, and listen. I got to give you the tip of the cap on the Suns and Bucks call. You've been on them all playoffs. They've come through. Listen,
well, the Suns I have. The Nets. I thought the Nets were going to beat the Bucks in the series. I mean, if they were, all three of them were healthy the whole time, they probably would. But I was still cheering for the Bucks, of course.
If there is a Suns Bucks final, I'm gonna have to get with JSU to adjust the show schedule, and I don't think I can handle doing 3-4 shows a week with you. Well, there's the Suns and Bucks are playing in the NBA.
Put me up to the premium show, JSU.
Yeah.
Start planning. It's coming.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, it looks like it is, but yeah, I mean, you've been on it. I will say you have not wavered. Everyone's giving you a lot of shit. Those teams to me did fall in some fortunate situations, but it's been a lot of that in the NBA playoffs this year, like DC kind of said. All right, we'll talk some baseball here. We have the 7-game slate. Before we hop into that, please do us that favor. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps us to continue to bring you guys these shows on a daily basis. Like I said, we have 7 games tonight. No weather concerns, right? DC, I'm not seeing anything like at all.
Yeah, it should be good to go. Yep.
Yeah, so weather is not a factor, which is always nice. I mean, you just never know nowadays. Okay, yeah, the one thing I did want to bring up, DC, you were tweeting about it last night before we hop into it. Got to give credit to these pitchers. I mean, you got Max Scherzer just, putting the hands up, check me, do whatever you got to do, starts taking the pants off. The dude for the A's legitimately took the pants off. I love that. That was awesome.
Yes.
What's Bauer going to do? What's Bauer about to do tonight?
He's going to do something, right? Like he's those kind of outs. Like he'll even do there's this pitching ninja Twitter account, and he came up with this a
sword
thing that's called a sword.
Yep.
If you check swing and you're rung up that way. And so Bauer, when he's been getting check swing strike threes, he's been taking a sword and sheathing it on the mound, which is just hilarious. I have mixed feelings about Trevor Bauer, and I mean he's obviously a big topic of conversation on this particular slate, right? I mean, Garrett Cole, another game with low strikeouts, right? We have to be starting to wonder about him. I think it's pretty safe to say he's not quite the same pitcher, right? How close he is to what he was, we don't know that for sure, but I think safe to say he's certainly at least slightly diminished version of himself. I mean, I guess we're jumping into the slate right now, and I think we're going to see the same thing with Trevor Bauer, to be honest. I know he was great in his last game, but I mean, of course he's still going to be great in some games, right? That doesn't mean he's just the same guy just because one game he was great against the freaking Diamondbacks, right? So, I mean, just jumping right into pitching.
Yeah.
I don't really trust Trevor Bauer right now, but I mean, you guys might have different takes for sure.
Yeah. I mean, when I look at this slate, I mean, it's lacking pitching. And again, we talked about it yesterday with these elite hitting values. They're there again tonight. I mean, we joked about the Wander Franco guy and them not adjusting his price. And, he hit a bomb last night and he's still sitting at 2K.
Credit to us, we were right. It was the correct play to just play him, right? Don't worry about that ownership. Yeah. What was he? 40% owned? I mean, obviously too low. And I get, it's annoying that I guess it's a little annoying they didn't adjust his price, but I don't know, let 40 or 50% of the people fade him and just take him at 2K because he's going to be a beast. So I don't know. It's kind of an edge, I think, honestly.
Take the free square and move on. And right, it is baseball. There's more volatility. Like this same situation occurs in a different sport. If the top prospect in the NBA is going to come up and play 35 minutes, it's a stone lock that he's going to produce in this spot.
Yes.
In football, if the 2 running backs are out, the third guy's there, he's low priced. More times than not, those guys produce. In baseball, yes, there is a chance that this guy comes out and goes 0 for 4.
A decent chance, right? I mean, it's going to happen for sure.
Chance. Yeah. But when you take all that in and you factor it in, you just play it for 2K. it's the right play. And, when we get to shortstop, we're all going to have that opinion. We had that opinion yesterday. It's not going to change. The matchup to me is great again here tonight. 2K, you take the free square, you move on, you build your lineups just around that.
You just have a free square in your lineup. It's just, you just take it.
So for me, just how that correlates back to pitcher, I'm sure it's going to be a lot very similar to kind of the approach that we had yesterday. Title and I are probably going to say, hey, we're just going to pay up for two guys, embrace the risk that, Bauer might not be the same person. In cash games, he's probably, with the value we have, if he goes out there and he's not the same Trevor Bauer that he was before, it's still probably fine for us in cash games. In tournaments, it sounds like DC is going to make the argument like he made yesterday to maybe go cheaper. It's just the difference in contest and style of play. But for me, I'm probably just, it's a very, very clear decision at pitcher to me. Robbie Ray, Trevor Bauer, and kind of, figure out the hitters there. That's my approach. Title. I mean, I'm assuming you're kind of thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Trevor Bauer and Robbie. I mean, Robbie Ray's a clear SP1. I'd play him in 150 lineups. I'm playing him in 150.
And I know it's been on him all year long. Back like April 20th, I was saying this guy's a brand new pitcher. He's gonna crush. He's crushed it. I mean, almost every start since then. Last start, a bit of a hiccup, but 11, 12 fantasy points. Not like it even killed you on that. So, I'm 100% with you guys on Robbie Ray. He is the SP1. I would play Robbie Ray over Trevor Bauer.
I would too. And that's the decision on FanDuel because their price is the same. I will give FanDuel credit. They got ahead of this and their hitting pricing absolutely sucks, but they've been pretty good on some of the pitching prices and they got him at 11K. So you got the Bauer Ray decision at pitcher. I think I might be with you. I think I do lean Ray over Bauer. I mean, Title, what are you thinking there on FanDuel?
Yeah, I'm Robbie Ray over Bauer too. He's just been the better pitcher. His high strikeout rates, his walks are down. He's got the best matchup by far against the Marlins. It's Robbie Ray over Bauer for me. If you said that a year ago, people would be calling you crazy, but that just shows the transformation of the game and the pitchers, and it's Robbie Ray for me.
DC, talk about some of these other guys. If you're not going to go Bauer, is there anyone else up top, or are you thinking maybe going a little cheaper here?
So, at least in tournaments, I'm going to be going Trevor Rogers over Trevor Bauer. Rogers is another guy that we've been on all year long. For Trevor Rogers, big lefty for the Miami Marlins. I mean, if you haven't watched this guy pitch, like he's kind of flown under the radar, right? Considering what he's doing. I mean, he's got an ERA below 2, a WHIP right at 1. He's just been one of the very, very best pitchers in baseball. And it seems just entirely legitimate to me. Like if you look at his fantasy points per game, they have I think 2 zeros in there randomly where maybe he was going to pitch and he didn't or something like that. So he's been better than his DK fantasy points per game. I know some people look at that a little bit. Tough matchup here, right? Against the Blue Jays, who clearly have a very, very strong lineup. I mean, they got George Springer back yesterday. And so now it's lengthened even further. I mean, 1 through 6 right-handers in a row, right? All who have power. So I get it. It's a scary matchup, and I think it's possible things go south for Trevor Rogers here, but that's possible for almost any pitcher in any night, right? I think Trevor Rogers rather has the type of stuff to mow through any lineup if he's on his game, right? A big fastball. He's got a changeup that he can use against these right-handed hitters. Like he doesn't diminish at all against righties. He's in that big park. He's at home, and he just hasn't faltered. I mean, it's just been every start for him. He's been strong. To me, when a great pitcher, and I think Trevor Rogers is kind of nearing that status for me, faces a strong lineup, it's advantage pitcher. It's hard to hit when a pitcher's hitting his spots and has this kind of stuff and that Trevor Rogers has. I mean, this guy's 6'6". He's throwing 95 from the left side with a good changeup and slider. He's kind of got it all. So he's a little bit risky, but I mean, there's risk with Bauer too, right? It's not like he's got some cake matchup against the Padres. There's the spin rate stuff, which is absolutely real. He was clearly using it. Now he cannot use it. They're checking every pitcher. So yeah, it's Rogers over Bauer for me. I get going Bauer there, but I think we're going to see another pitcher's duel in Miami, right? I was all over Ross Stripling yesterday, and shout out to DD Pensack, a member at Run Pure Sports, won 100K last night, and he had Stripling in his lineup. I'm not taking any credit for him. I mean, for the Stripling call with his lineup. You know, DD Pensack's doing his own thing, right? He's fantastic at MLB DFS. He posts his cores often in the chat for free, you know, just in the Discord. So a big shout out to him. But yeah, I do think I'm really anticipating another pitcher's duel between Ray and Rogers in Miami, and I feel weirdly more comfortable with Rogers, despite the tough matchup kind of on paper, than I do with Trevor Bauer. So that's my take on it. I don't have a problem with playing Trevor Bauer, obviously, but I do think Rogers is a better play, at least where I'm coming from.
Yeah. Title, any cheaper guys that you're kind of looking at for GPPs here?
No, I really think it's Robbie Ray, and then you pick one of Trevor Bauer, Rogers, and then you could throw Joe Musgrove in the equation too at 9.5. Yeah. I mean, like you mentioned, Franco is 2K, Toro's still 2.4K, Tucker's back in the lineup who's cheap. Like, I just don't see a reason that you got to go below any of them. And I think Trevor Rogers, Trevor Rogers and Bauer are pretty much coin flips. I think I'm just taking the guy that's been better for longer, and I know his ownership will be higher, which, as you mentioned in cash games earlier, if Trevor Rogers blows up and Bauer throws an okay game, you're already at a huge disadvantage to the field because of the ownership. Whereas tournaments, you want to take that ownership discount for pretty much the same ceiling, the same type of play. So I totally agree with DC. I think it's those three: Musgrove, Rogers, or Bauer. And I lean Bauer in cash games, but yeah, tournaments, I think Rogers good. Musgrove, he's my third option of the three. I don't love picking on the Dodgers. I feel a little better with Bauer and Rogers, but I'm not going anywhere outside of those three. And then Robbie Ray, he's going to be in every single one of my lineups.
Yeah, I mean, there are some you come down here towards the bottom of this player pool, and there's some dusty ass names. I see like Garrett Richards on some projection sites is kind of popping up there as a guy to consider.
Miss me on Richards. I'll say it. I'll say it strongly if I have a take that one of these cheap pitchers I think is going to have a good game. I mean, I said it was Stripling, right? It wasn't just a punt play. Like I thought he was going to pitch well. He ended up pitching very well. I don't see it tonight. I'm not. Yeah. I can't roster any of these guys.
I'm with you. I looked around and I saw Richards was kind of popping as a value. There's no way in hell I'd be clicking Richards' name tonight. It's not the situation yesterday. Like yesterday we rattled off there's probably like 4 or 5 guys that we all kind of consensus.
They did pretty well, right? But this is just
Morton smash. Yeah. Morton smash, Stripling smash. It's just they were good in good spots and good solid pitchers. Not today. I agree.
Today is not the case. And what about the Houston dude? Your Quiddy. Any interest there?
Urquidy? Yeah, I mean he's a pretty good pitcher, right? But he's not the same level of a Bauer, a Rogers, a Ray, or a Musgrove. He's clearly a tier behind those guys as a pitcher. And I just it's the Orioles, but I just don't love going into Camden Yards, right? When you're used to he pitches most of his games in the air conditioning in Houston, and the Orioles can hit a little bit, right? It's just not a great spot in my opinion. So I think he is an okay play. He's certainly on the list, right? Like if you're trying to get away from the 3 top guys, he would be one of the 2. And there is only 2 more guys that I would consider playing. Urquidy is one of them. And then James Caprillion for the Oakland A's against Texas is the other guy. This to me looks like, basically a 5 or 6 pitcher slate and strong lean for me, Ray, Rogers, and Bauer. I like Rogers better. You guys like Bauer, but to me, it's kind of between those 3 guys. And I don't think you need to get that much more. You don't need to get complicated here, right? Just those are the 3 best plays, and
we're all kind of on the same page. And it's one of those nights I typically keep my player pool tight, and I tell you what I'm thinking here. Yesterday I said there's like 8 or 9 guys I consider playing. Today's a complete opposite, 3 or 4 at the most. I think we're all kind of on board. Ray just way too cheap on DK, especially on FanDuel. They did a better job with the price and got him up there. At 11K, still easy to play him if you want, but it's more of a decision on FanDuel. On DK, I think you just kind of go with Ray, and I have a feeling it's going to be a consensus thought here at Run Pure Sports when these core plays start to roll out today. So a little preview there for you. And if you're not a member, you can use that promo code RPS Heater 25. Gets you 25% off your first payment of a monthly package at Run Pure Sports. Other thing that I wanted to bring up, we have the podcast that goes out every morning. DC runs it, brings on a guest. They break down, kind of preview the MLB slate, kind of a first look type podcast. Find that podcast and give us a 5-star review. You can get it on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, all those places, and give us a 5-star review. That really would help us out.
Our guy Steve Boynton on the podcast tonight, he does fantastic work for us. Great college basketball guy, but also very, very sharp baseball dude. We have kind of similar mindsets. We're often on the same guys. We're kind of diving deep into the analytical stuff, right? We're both kind of spreadsheet baseball guys. So always a good conversation with him. So it'll be a good one.
We got a deep MLB team. I mean, it's got to be the deepest team that we have for a sport. I mean, MLB, there's a lot of good guys. You talked about Gary. I mean, just a ton. DP Pensac in the chat. He's been crushing.
Discord's been hopping today. We've been watching some day baseball, getting ready for this late slate. So yeah, we're excited for this one.
Yeah. So, and I believe you have a birthday coming up, right?
Tomorrow.
DC?
Yeah.
Tomorrow. All right. So I am
big 36. I figure it's all downhill from 35. So it's just.
So I'm exactly a week behind you. I'm next Thursday. I'll be 37. So we're in the same ballpark.
I'm not a huge fan of celebrating the anniversary of 1 year closer to my impending demise, my impending death, but it is what it is, right? You got to celebrate it. So headed to Topgolf with some friends and family. Should be a good time there. And I'll be back. I'll have all the normal content. You know, I'm taking a day off from middle of baseball season. So I'll be back.
You grind it every day.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead, hop in, talk some positions. Let's go to the catcher position first. And right off the hop, I mean, to me, I'm looking at this and probably going to be a spot where I look to save a little money. We have a decent chunk of the lineups out. Maldonado, 2.6K is a guy that kind of stands out to me, gets you some exposure to Houston. But if you are stacking Houston, I mean, you probably want 5 other guys. So it makes the decision a little bit more difficult. If I'm spending, I'd probably just go Gary Sanchez, gets that good lineup spot, batting third for the Yankees tonight. 5.2K, so you're kind of paying a premium for him. I don't know. Outside of that, it's just there's not many options here. So for me right now, it's probably Sanchez or Maldonado. Kind of see who's in there for the A's too. If a cheaper A's guy gets in there, I'd have some interest. Catchers typically, not a loaded position. We have a 7-game slate, no surprise title. Talk to me here about catcher.
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 clear hitting spots on today's slate with the Astros in the clear best spot and the Oakland A's and the New York Yankees. So I agree completely with what you said. If you're going up, I'm going to play Gary Sanchez against Danny Duffy. He's in a 3-hole, very good matchup. And if I can't spend up for him, Martin Maldonado at 2.6K, you get exposure to the best offense all the way down. So I'm only going to mention 2 guys at this position. I think it's pretty clear. If you want to get different, whoever's a part of your stack, throw them in there at catcher is how I see it.
EC?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys. This is just a horrendous position tonight, right? There's really nobody you want to play. Gary Sanchez, I do agree, is the best play on the slate, but do you really want to spend 5.2K on Gary Sanchez when we're also spending up most likely at both starting pitcher spots, right? Like that's going to take your average, position salary down quite a bit to get a guy who could easily get you 0 points. What does he get? 0 points, probably 30% of the games or something like that with how much he strikes out and everything. So yeah, he's got the most upside. Clearly Sanchez does. Salvador Perez, I think it's a decent play too. I mean, Michael King, not a very good pitcher. I think you could make the argument Perez over Sanchez if you want to spend. But yeah, this looks like a savings position to me, especially because we all want to spend at pitcher. There's some good stacks I like that are going to be chalky, but I still kind of want to go there. I'll throw out William Contreras, who has been hitting pretty well for the Braves, at least for a catcher, right? Like the batting average is low, the strikeouts are high. He seems like kind of the same hitter that Wilson Contreras is, right? His older brother that plays for the Cubs. If you look at their profiles, they're very similar. And that guy is a pretty damn good hitter for a catcher. So I think William is going to continue to hit. He's going to continue to hit for power. He goes up against a Mets pitcher making his MLB debut, kind of like the Braves tonight in general. So, yeah, I'll throw in William Contreras to the mix, but tough position overall.
Yeah, not a great one. The chat here. Someone asked where our boy D-Rock is. And the next response was D-Rock must have gotten shipped out. D-Rock did not get shipped out. D-Rock is still a part of the Run Pure Sports team. He has an article that goes out every morning / afternoon. He's
great article. Great read every day.
It's a very good article in the Discord. Helping us behind the scenes with some other things. The schedule just didn't work out with the shows. He'll be back though at some point doing shows again. Right now he's got some things going on, but still part of the team. D-Rock's not going anywhere. He is a asset to the Run Pure Sports team. He will be back in the forefront here at some point, but right now schedule is not working out. We love our boy D-Rock though. He's definitely still a part of the team. Let's go to first base. And first base, we have a lot of options. There's a lot of guys here that I like. So we have Oakland A's guys, Matt Olson, Mitch Moreland, if he's in there. Moreland is 3.7K on DK, 2.2K, so like a full punt on FanDuel, but not a lock to be in this lineup. I assume he'll be in there today going against Fultonevich, so we'll have to see when that lineup comes out. I haven't seen it yet. Luke Voigt, he's batting 5th, 4K. Gary L batting 3rd, 4.8K. G-Man Choi, I kind of like the Rays here a little bit tonight. He is, I believe that lineup came out batting 2nd tonight, 4.2K. And then we have another full punt for the Royals, Ryan O'Hearn, flat 2K. And, that we talk about all the time. These are the guys that make it easy to double pay up at pitcher. So we're going to have a couple of these guys. We already talked about the Wander Franco for the Rays. Here's another one, 2K, full minimum price. These plays used to be very hard to come by, but nowadays on DraftKings, we kind of get a lot of them. That's why we've been advocates for paying up at pitcher. DC, I'll go to you first. Give me your thoughts at first base.
A lot of good plays here. My kind of initial take coming into this slate was just pay up for Matt Olson, right? The dude has been crushing it. We've got a long sample size of Fultonevich just really, really struggling against lefties, right? It's just obvious. He's a fastball slider guy, doesn't have much of a changeup. Olson been killing it. So I do think he is the top play on the slate. I really like Houston tonight. Some hot take or anything, but Thomas Eshelman, he just looks like perhaps the very, very worst starting pitcher in a rotation right now in all of baseball. Right now he's got the Astros and Camden Yards. I know he did get through his first start against the Blue Jays, but I really, really don't think that's going to continue for Thomas Eshelman. I think he's going to get bombed tonight and going forward. One game of baseball, you never know. But Yuli Gurriel, I love the Astros. I think Carlos Santana, at 4,300 against King. I think the Royals are a little bit interesting. And then you mentioned Ryan O'Hearn for the Royals. While you were talking about him, I hadn't noticed that he was in the lineup quite yet. That must have come out recently. I looked up his minor league numbers, to see what he's doing at AAA. And oh my goodness, this guy has just been raking at AAA. Like this is like the best minor league numbers I've ever seen. Wow. He's hitting 375 with 12 home runs and 3 steals. His strikeout percentage is way down. He's been 150% above league average, 249 WRC plus for those stat nerds out there. This is just like unheard of numbers. So I don't know. Like what is it? He's 27 years old, right? He's going up against minor league players. But I looked that up and it's just like eye popping to me, as a guy that does look at minor league stats and trying to predict prospects and all that. So yeah, O'Hearn at minimum price has to be in consideration given what he's been doing. He would be anyway, right? But given how much he's been crushing it, now he's been kind of crushing it a little bit in the big leagues. 4 home runs in 21 games, not bad. So yeah, Ryan O'Hearn looks good to me.
Yeah. Title thoughts here at first base.
Yeah, I'm very similar to you guys. The position's loaded for sure. Matt Olson at the top, if you have the money, 5.5K. Love him against Fulte. Mitch Moreland, if you can't get him at 3.7K, the A's are in a great spot. Luke Voigt.
That lineup did come out, by the way. He's batting 5th. So it's
Ryan O'Hearn took Garrett Cole deep yesterday. I wasn't aware of that. I thought this was.
Oh, wow.
First game back. Given what he was doing in the minor leagues and the fact he took Garrett Cole deep yesterday,
he's locked in.
I'm in.
That's good. That's a good point. Definitely strong play. That A's lineup came out, got Kemp, Chapman, Olson, Laureano, Moreland, then Murphy's catching. So
cool. Yeah. So Mitch Moreland, this position is completely loaded. Gary L is going to be actually one of the lower owned good plays at this position because people want to play other Houston Astros that are cheap Toro's cheap. The outfield's really good. So if you want to get different with the Astros in the top spot in the 3 hole, I like that too. But Ryan O'Hearn's down there at 2K too. So it's a really, really loaded position. So many options. Kind of go with your stack. But Matt Olson, for sure, the best up top. But O'Hearn, if you're double paying up like we are at a pitcher, it's kind of hard not to just plug
I'll say
in.
It right now. I'm playing O'Hearn after.
And that's why you can play Gary Sanchez and stuff too. I'm just saying that O'Hearn, Toro, Franco doubles. Those guys combined for like 6.7K. You can spend for whatever. So
and the nice thing about O'Hearn is, you'd think this 2K punt batting fourth would have high ownership. That's not going to be the case. First base is loaded. Number one,
you'll have some ownership, but it won't be that high.
It won't be that much. You have a first baseman for the top 3 offenses on the slate that are going to have ownership. Gary L. You have two Oakland guys, Olson and Mitch Moreland, and then you have Luke Voigt as well. So you don't have to be worried about ownership with O'Hearn. I think very strong play today. Really like hearing what DC had to say there for sure. And then took Cole deep last night. What more could you possibly ask for? So
it was the combination. I didn't even realize that, and I was talking to how much he's been crushing in the minors, and then you're like, oh, he went 2 for 4 with a home run off Garrett Cole after crushing in the minors for this last month. Okay, it's sometimes guys figure it out. It's just
and there's a reason they got him in the 4 hole. They're aware of how hot he is too here. So it's definitely strong play. All right, let's head on over to second base, and obviously the premier play here will be Jose Altuve, but he's 5.7K. You're paying the full Monty for him, but obviously worth it. One of the best hitters in baseball, going against one of the worst pitchers in baseball, like DC said. We got Kemp is leading off for the A's. He is second base eligible, 3.3K. He's going to have some ownership today. Solid value play there. Brandon Lowe at 4.5K. I think he's in the conversation. We have DJ LeMahieu, 4.9K. A lot of different ways we can possibly go here. Spend ups, mid-tier, cheap guys. Title, what are you doing here at second base?
Yeah, Jose Altuve, if you have the money, is the top second baseman, 5.7K. Otherwise, you mentioned Tony Kemp. I like him at 3K, but Jeff McNeil also at 3K against Kyle Wright. I like the Mets. I think they're sneaky today, and I really don't target the Mets a lot. I don't love their lineup, but they have a nice, healthy 4.7 team total. I expect McNeil to be leading off. 3K is too cheap too. So those are the only 3 guys in my player pool.
It's a good pool. Kyle Wright for the Braves really, really sucks.
Someone in the chat was asking about him being a viable pitcher tonight. Talk about that real quick.
He's just been awful. Every time he gets a shot at the big league, he's a prospect, but we've seen enough at this point where it's just like he can't. The Braves want him to have a rotation spot, and he can't hold one down because he sucks too bad. That's kind of what's going on with Kyle Wright. So that seems like a pretty good guy to pick on to me.
All right, who else you got here at second base?
Yeah, I like Albies a lot. I like the Braves against McGill. They have a Vegas giving this McGill guy who's making his MLB debut for the Mets a lot of respect.
They got the team total for the Braves at 4.
Yeah, which I don't know. I would have guessed like a run higher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like the Braves have they got the same lineup out there they do every single day, right? The Braves.
This guy like a big prospect, or
his minor league numbers are very good. A lot of strikeouts. Yeah. I've never actually seen him pitch myself, but listen, I've been burned this year for sure by the prospects that are coming up with good minor league pedigree. Those guys in the past have kind of come through. Hasn't happened this year, right? We've seen almost every rookie pitcher that's coming up struggle early on. So I would probably play McGill here if he was 4K. I don't actually think he's in the DraftKings player pool at all. But I don't know. I'll take the Braves lineup, right? These are a lot of good hitters in this lineup over a guy making his MLB debut. So I do like Ozzie Albies quite a bit. If we're going to Oakland, Jed Lowry, his hasn't been hitting too much, but 4,100 if you're stacking Oakland, he's obviously
he's not in there today.
Oh, okay, my bad there then. Yeah, I think McNeil's fine. I do like Albies quite a bit, and obviously, if you can afford Jose Altuve, I mean, Eshelman is. I feel really confident in saying Eshelman is not going to have success, right? Like he's going to get lit up pretty much every time he pitches. I know he didn't last time, but I think he's going to get lit up if that happens, right? You got to imagine Altuve's got a piece of it. So if you can afford him, I think get up to Altuve.
As long as he doesn't square up for another bunt and foul out like he did yesterday for whatever. did you see that? He literally bunted, and he's so hot, hitting the ball so hard, and he squares up for a bunt and fouls it to the catcher. I was like, what are you doing?
That's the worst when you especially a 2-hole hitter and they like bunt their sacrifice bunt in the first inning when they're coming up and you're just.
It wasn't even that. He was doing it for a hit. I was like, what are you doing? But yeah, no.
You're like red hot. Yeah.
Yeah. It made no sense. The announcers were like, well, thanks. I mean, they're Baltimore announcers like, thanks, Altuve. I mean, you did us a favor. But
you generally want to don't do the thing that the other team would like you to do, right? I think
in every sport.
Of course, Baltimore wants Jose Altuve to try to bunt for a hit where the upside is a single,
Same thing with Giannis shooting a 3. The other team wants you to do it, so you don't do it.
That's a good example. And I think the best example of that is punting in football.
Yes.
The other team wants you to punt it to them. So don't do it. Go for it.
The punts inside the other teams.
And they're half of the field. It's like, what are you doing?
Coaches, it's like literally the most common sense thing. I mean, it's just
baffling. Kicking a field goal when you're the Packers down.
Oh, I mean that might have been the worst.
You got the MVP on your team. It's like, come on.
Yep. That might have been the worst of anything I've seen.
But we can move on. That hurts me right now, even talking about.
That's fair.
We
don't want to get bad mojo for title going to the Bucks game tonight.
No, well, Hoop does. I don't.
I said I'm on both sides of it. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting against the Bucks. So.
a tie.
Playing for both teams. All right, let's go to third base. We still have this value play that continues to pop up here. Toro, 2.4K. Haven't adjusted his price. He's part of obviously the top offense on the slate. The Astros batting 7th tonight. He'll be popular. Matt Chapman, 4.6K, going to be popular. Guy that I like that could come in a little lower owned, Joey Wendell. I like the Rays here tonight. And this guy, I've played him a few times.
Yeah.
I don't know what his profile is, but he just always gets it done whenever I play him.
He can hit. Yeah, he's a good player. Yep.
Yeah. Batting 6. I don't think he'll have much ownership. We got Austin Riley for DC's Braves. He's 3.8K, batting 5th. There's a few of the guys I'm looking at. Toro, Chapman will be the highest owned, obviously. DC thoughts here at third.
Pretty bad position, right? I mean, this is one where, I don't love eating chalk like Toro, or he's not really a super dynamic player. But I might do it here just because I don't feel good about the other options on the slate. I'm with you. I think Chapman is fine. Again, much prefer lefties against Fulte, and much prefer Chapman to be facing a lefty himself. So not a perfect matchup, but on the slate, I think he's obviously one of the better plays. Wendell, I do like him a lot. I think the Rays could be sneaky, right? I think Richards been pitching above his head. I haven't really been buying into it, but I don't know. I think the Rays could do some damage, right? They got Franco in there. They had a big game yesterday. Could see that continuing. So I like the Wendell call. And then, Austin Riley, the other guy, I kind of like him better in a full Brave stack, maybe, but he's fine as a one-off because he's got power. So, tough position. If you want to take, it's not a free square with Toro, right? He's not a great hitter. He's hitting 7th, but I do think if you need the savings, he's a pretty strong play here.
Yeah. Let's get these likes up. We got about 400 people watching, 122. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe, helps us to continue to bring you guys these shows. What else we got? Oh yeah, we got the deal going with Super Draft. You go to Super Draft and use the promo code RUNPEER. You get a deposit match up to $100 on your first deposit. We have a section in the core plays part of our content that is devoted to Super Draft picks. So head on over to Super Draft, use that promo code RUNPEER. Title, what are you thinking here at third base?
I'm playing Toro for sure. I mean, double spending up a pitcher. We like Altuve. We like these spend ups in the outfield. I like Gary Sanchez a little bit. So, I mean, this position sucks. So I'm just going to take the guy in the best offense that's really mispriced. So that's how I see it. And then if you want a tournament guy, yeah, probably Austin Riley. If DC likes the Braves a little bit, he has power. He's going to be 2% owned, but I'm playing Toro.
Yeah. All right, let's head on over to third shortstop, and we kind of already talked about shortstop. Wander Franco was the guy yesterday. We said lock him in, 2K, hit a bomb. Tonight he is batting third, similar spot here. I mean, the Rays are projected to score 5, still 2K, and we kind of talked about it in the opening. It's like a free square. You take it, you kind of move on. Let's talk about maybe some of these other guys. If yesterday, what did we say, like 40% owned or something? He was.
I think he came in, between 30 and 40, depending on.
Probably going to be higher today. People saw him hit that bomb, 7-game slate, smaller slate. So he's probably going to be higher owned today. If you're not going there, Carlos Correa, Torres, I think are options you can potentially look at. Maybe Xander Bogaerts. I'm just playing Franco. I mean, long term, DC. I mean, what's his price long term on DK? Like 5K, right?
Yeah, yesterday I think I said he had a 4K floor this year. Yeah. Sometimes it takes a little bit. Like Vladimir Guerrero was a good, not great hitter for the first 2 years of his career. Now he's the best hitter in baseball. That's what we're looking at with Wander Franco. Sometimes it catches right away, right? We saw it with Juan Soto, I think 3 years ago maybe, and he hit the ground running. That's a big thing with these prospects, I think, where he's like, okay, yeah, I can handle this major league pitching. Matchup is great. He's a switch hitter. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to adjust, your projection after one game necessarily, but for sure a 4K floor. And I would guess, I think most likely, either by end of this year or next year, he's a 5K player. He's 2K. He's in a good matchup. To me, you just play him. You just play the guy, let half the field fade him, whatever it is. And like we talked about yesterday, he has a floor. He's not a strikeout guy. So when you're 2K and you're not striking out, you're gonna get something going almost every game. And then obviously you could have a monster game like you did yesterday. So pretty easy play there for me, honestly.
Yeah, title. I mean, we already kind of talked about it. I mean, you and I are for sure just playing them.
I was really impressed. I mean, he got down 0-2 in the count, his first at bat, and fought back to get a walk. I mean, he tracked every pitch. I mean, Erod, he's a solid pitcher. Like he has some. This
guy is just an elite pure hitter.
He tracked every pitch to the glove. I mean, he saw it all. 0-2 to work back to a walk, and I mean, everyone on their feet, all the pressure, a lot of composure. I was very impressed. He's 2K though. Like, I mean, we're playing him hoop. If you're not gonna play him, you play Carlos Correa, I think. And it gets you different, with the best offense at a guy that's going to be lower owned because of Franco, but then you're probably not spending up somewhere else that we want to. So we're playing them, all three of us again. I recommend you guys do too.
Yep. I think he's FanDuel. I think it's like 2.5K. I mean, still obviously very, very strong play on
not everyone will play him, right? People are like, oh, everybody's going to play him. It's like, well, no, half the field's going to fade him because people stack, right? Especially in tournaments that you stack in shortstops. Oftentimes you'll have your shortstop in the stack. So that just kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say artificially, but predictably lowers his ownership at least a little bit.
He was only 70% in cash games on DraftKings yesterday at 2K.
That's ridiculous.
I was surprised, but hey, it always happens. You always see it. It'll be 80 maybe today, 85 max, but people will fade him.
Yep. It'll be higher today just because, only 7 games. People saw him, hit the bomb yesterday. So yeah, it'll come up, but it's not to a point where, he should be 100% on really. when you think about it and break it down, he really should just be 100% on. Everyone should play him, but people won't. And that's, assuming he does what we think he's capable of doing, you're on the right side of it, for sure by just playing him. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on over to the outfield position. And we have obviously a lot of plays here as well. And a lot of it revolves around the Astros guys. We have Alvarez, 5K, Brantley, 4.1K, Kyle Tucker, 3.9K, probably going to be the 3 highest owned guys on the slate, and rightfully so. I mean, all left-handed batters here in a good matchup against who we think is one of the worst pitchers in baseball. Big team total for the Astros, 5.8K. These three guys are going to take up a ton of the ownership at the position. Other guys, I think you can look at the A's guys. We got Laureano, we got Tony Kemp. You can play him second base, outfield. We have the Yankees guys, Judge, Stanton, both in the conversation here. Going down, see if there's anyone else. I like the Rays guys too. Austin Meadows, 5.3K. I think he's a strong play. As always in the outfield, a ton of different ways that you can go. But like I said, the Astros guys by far are going to be the highest owned guys at the position. Title, thoughts here in the outfield?
Yeah, it's for sure the Astros. But other than the Astros, a couple other guys that I'll mention. Michael Conforto, I don't think we have the Mets lineup yet, but he's expected to be back there probably around 5 holes, something like that. 3.5K is too cheap. You can add some exposure to the Mets. Clint Frazier at 2.4K if you want to go all the way down. He's in the 8 hole and the outfield's loaded, so I don't expect him to get too much ownership. But I like picking on Danny Duffy. You can do a wheel stack. I know we talk about that a lot. People aren't going to play Frazier in this loaded outfield, so I like him a little bit. Miles Straw at 2.6K. Again, if you want to do the wraparound stack, he's in the 8 hole. People are just going to play the Brantleys, the Tuckers, the Alvarezes, and rightfully so. They're underpriced, but Straw had a very good game yesterday too. Jorge Soler, 3.6K. He's got power in the 5 hole. Yeah, I mean, there's like 4 or 5 guys I mentioned outside of the really clear guys. Joey Gallo's the last one. He homered again yesterday too. He's got power, even though I don't love Texas today, but you can one-off him. I'm mainly going to be playing the Astros guy, but I think getting to the bottom of the order, to the Fraziers, to the Straws, still in good offenses is how you get different.
Yeah, the Joey Gallo thing is something, I mean, we've talked about it like all season long. Like if you're building, player pool and you're looking for one-offs, like more times than not, Joey Gallo is a guy you should just put in there. I mean, just massive power.
Yes.
You don't always necessarily love the Rangers offense. Ownership has been pretty low almost every slate.
I mean,
to me,
he's like the quintessential one-off player, right?
Yeah, a perfect guy for one-off, literally. Yeah. I mean, it's exactly what you want from a one-off. Multiple home run upside, won't be high owned. If he hits a bomb, you get a big leg up on the field.
And also going against one of the pitchers that will at least be somewhat owned, right, in Caprillion. So that's an added bonus for Gallo. So, yeah, he was the guy I was going to bring up. I will say, I wasn't as high on the Astros as I think maybe you guys yesterday. Obviously, they disappointed.
They busted.
Yeah.
There's a difference, though. I know it's not reflected necessarily in the total. And I'm not saying Pablo – no, who Lopez, right?
Lopez, yeah.
Jorge Lopez.
He throws hard at least.
I'm not. Yeah. I mean, I said that in chat. It's like at least you have a chance. This guy's throwing 97, 98 mile per hour fastballs. He struck out the side in the first inning. Like he's not a good major league pitcher, but he is a major league caliber starting pitcher, right? He's a third or fourth starter. He's got a good arm. There's a big difference in my mind between Jorge Lopez and Tom Eshelman, who I think has absolutely no business starting a game in the major league. So that's kind of why, my sentiment has changed despite, this Astros total is almost the exact same, right? I think that it was yesterday, right around 6.
Actually,
so
it came up a little bit
higher.
We've been on the show, but yeah, they were like 5.6 yesterday. Today, now they're right at 6.
To me, that's just way wrong. I think these are way different caliber of pitchers, Eshelman and Lopez. So I'm on the Astros today. I'm playing especially Jordan Alvarez, Michael Brantley. I mean, I'm playing these guys today. So that's that. Yeah, Gallo was going to be the guy I was going to mention. They get Kyle Tucker back. He seems like legitimately sick for about 10 days, I think now. Apparently he lost 10 pounds, but it's not like the Astros are going to rush him back, right? They have guys that are filling in. Their offense is humming like a machine anyway. So I've heard some trepidation about playing him in the Discord. I think you're good to go with Kyle Tucker. So
the DraftKings algorithm legitimately hates Michael Brantley. Like they refuse. Yeah. A lot of times it's Alvarez too, but Brantley, they refuse to like put up at all. I mean, 4-1, I think really good price tag for him.
Yeah. My honest advice is to put in the 3 Astros outfielders, Tucker, Brantley, Alvarez. I think you'll be pretty pleased when the slate is over if you got those 3 guys in there.
Yeah. Anything else kind of stand out to you in the outfield, or that pretty much sums it up?
Yeah, the Astros guys, Gallo. I like the call with Soler, but we've got two what we think are very, very strong punts. One we know for sure, Wander Franco, obviously, and we kind of like Ryan O'Hearn, right? So we got a lot of money to spend in the outfield, even with two good pitchers. Like I can take literally my SP1, my SP2, which is Rogers and Ray. Or Ray and Rogers rather, and stack the Astros, with Wander Franco. Like I don't want to give out a whole lineup, but it looks pretty good to me.
It makes a ton of sense, and it really does. And like we always said, the pricing on DK nowadays it's a lot softer than it used to be. It makes it easy to kind of get exactly what you want. But all right. Let's head on over and talk about some stacks. I mean, we only have 7 games. There's 3 like clear-cut offenses that are going to have ownership. It's going to be the Astros. It's going to be the Yankees. It's going to be the Athletics. Most ownership's coming from those teams. Title, give me one team outside of those 3 that you have interest in stacking up tonight.
New York Mets, I'll say. They're cheap.
Like that.
I like they got some positions that you can get McNeil, Dom Smith, Conforto, so they'll be the one.
Another spot where the total has come up a little bit too. I mean, not huge, but I believe it's like half a run or something that the totals come up in that game. So that's always something to keep an eye on.
I think a key strategy point, I think, is like if you're full stacking, you really want to full stack against a bad pitcher, right? I think if you're taking your one-offs, the one-offs have to have the skill themselves. It's a crucial point, and Kyle Wright has just sucked. So I think the Mets are a good call. I'm obviously on the Astros. I've talked a lot about them, and then I'll throw the Rays into the mix against Garrett Richards, who I don't think he's a very good pitcher. He can get super wild, and I think the Rays are maybe about to go on a run. They're about to call up another Wander Franco and Vidal Brujan. I can't wait for that. This guy's going to be
their lineup. Like just looking at their lineup right now. Like, I don't know if there's many teams, even outside of this slate that I'd take their lineup over. Like, I love this lineup. Like, it's loaded.
It's about to get better once they call up Vidal Brujan too. And I kind of believe in hot streaks a little bit, right? We've seen it with Kyle Schwarber on this early slate. If we believe in good mojo here at Run Pure Sports, I think the Rays got some good mojo going on right now, right? They're facing the Red Sox. They're at home. They got their superstar number 1 prospect up. He homers in the first game. Now they get a pitcher who's been struggling. Probably going to tee off, I think, honestly.
Yeah.
So
I love the Rays. That's what I was going to say. The Rays too. I hope their ownership is.
It'll be outside of Franco. I think it'll be relatively low, to be honest.
Yeah, outside. I agree with you. Outside of Franco, I mean the prices are up on most of their guys on both sites, so it's not like there's many free squares outside of Franco. So I'm with you. I
think specifically call out Austin Meadows. I think is a really good play at outfield. If you want to get away from a Jordan or something like that, he's got massive upside as well.
Yeah. All right. Let's see where we're at with the likes. Not too bad. You guys can still do better though. I mean, hit the like button, help us out. We're going to get into the plays of the day here. We got to get our boy Title free and clear so we can get down and root in his Bucks victory tonight. Let's Title. I guess we'll go to you first. Give us the SO play of the day. Who do you got for us?
Yeah, today's tough because there's so many clear people at each position, but I'll go with a Met. I'm gonna go with Dominic Smith, 3.9K. Expect him to be in the 3 hole. He's got some power. He's gonna be really low owned. Everyone's gonna play Alvarez, Tucker, Brantley, and rightfully so. But that's some cheap Mex exposure that's gonna be low owned. So Dom Smith is the SO.
Yeah, we still don't have that lineup, but I'm assuming he'll be right there in the middle.
If not, Conforto would be another guy. I mean,
Smith will be in there.
Yeah. Looking at their lineup too, they get Conforto back. I mean, it's starting to come together a little bit. I definitely like the Mets tonight.
Yeah, Mets offense could go on a run. They're one to keep an eye on because they're finally
They're disappointed early on, but I think they could kind of start to turn a corner.
Absolutely.
All right, so for the 4X play of the day today, I'm going to go to the Rays. I like the Rays. Guy I kind of talked about. I'm going Joey Wendell. He's treated me well in the past. I think he's a pretty solid hitter. DC kind of backed that up. So give me Joey Wendell to get it done for us tonight. Should be super low owned. So that's my guy tonight. And lastly, we're going to Mom's Basement for all the microwavable goods. DC, who do we got for the Mom's Basement play of the day?
Wasn't my guy coming into the slate, but I'm going with Ryan O'Hearn for the Kansas City Royals. Hit and clean up. If you missed the top of the show, the dude was just destroying AAA. I mean, truly like numbers, unprecedented kind of numbers in AAA was what he was doing. Got the call yesterday, his first game in over a month, I think, for the Royals, and homered off Garrett Cole. Still 2K. He gets Michael King in Yankee Stadium tonight. This is a big power guy, right? Big slugging first baseman who it seems from the numbers like he's found something. You can get him for 2K, and we're paying up for pitching. He looks like a great play to me.
This King guy's not very good, right?
No, he's terrible.
Why? I mean, that's another situation like we talked about with like the Braves. Why is the Royals team total so low? I mean, sitting just slightly above 4.
Pretty good bullpen there, I guess.
O'Hearn, Soler, 4 or 5, little mini stack.
I'll also say this. This goes kind of differs from what we said at the top of the show. Give me Salvador Perez over Gary Sanchez as well. I think just a better hitter, right? I mean, look at what these guys have produced over the last couple of years. So I'll make that call as well.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right. Well, title. Good luck tonight, man. We're rooting for you and rooting against you at the same time.
Somehow.
I appreciate it. Hopefully I don't need luck. They should
be able
to get it done.
Yeah, you might not need it. I mean, what are they? 8.5-point favorites.
It's big. Keeps climbing.
If they do lose, we're going to give you a hard time on the show. But you already know that. So
sure. I already battled it. I got some buck sweep action at plus 350. So if they lose today, it's not going to be good.
All right.
All right. We got JSU, Holden, and Big T taking you up to lock on the final countdown. So head on over to runpuresports.com to check those guys out. We are going to clear the way though now. So for title, for DC, I'm Hoop. Good luck tonight in your contest.
Good luck, everybody.